Alright guys, it's Chatterbox Reviews, coming at you guys with the Deuce, Season 1, Episode 3 review. Alright, so this show, really entertaining, still, really impressing me so far. Yeah, I really like this episode. I thought it was better than last week's episode a little bit, and yeah, so the first few episodes, like I said in the last one, really just building characters right now, right? I mean, we're not really getting much of a story, but we're kind of getting, hints, right, at stuff, that's, to come, sort of thing, right? So I think that's mostly what this first little bit of the season is going to be like. Maybe by the finale we get some storylines kind of happening. But I guess we got like one or two now, right, with Vinny and the bar and all that. So yeah, you could count that as one. But we're kind of just getting a bunch of breadcrumbs right now. And really good development of characters right now. So yeah. And I'm not gonna argue with it. Of course, I think it's good. But yeah, so that's just sort of what this show's doing so far. And yeah, not really like a lot of other shows I watch. So it is a little bit different. And because of that, these reviews are a little bit differently formatted as well. So yeah, like I said, it was a good episode, better than last week's, I think. Just a little bit more happened in this. There were some good scenes in this that like I really enjoyed when I was watching. I really enjoyed. So yeah, I'll definitely touch on those. But yeah, I'll go over a quick recap here. I don't think it's going to be long. But yeah, quick recap. And for this one, I'm kind of following storylines more than, overall what happened in the show or in the episode, sorry. And for the storylines, it's sort of character based, right, or characters based. So that's sort of where I'm taking that there. And then of course, at the end I'll get to some more of my thoughts and some more specifics with a rating, favorite character, typical stuff. So anyways, yep, thank you for tuning into this one. If you're here and you haven't seen, I do have episode 1 and 2 review. I'm doing all episodes for this season of The Deuce. So if you haven't seen those, please go watch those. Those are in the channel. Also in the description here, you can see the Keep Up with the Series link, and that's actually the link to the playlist for these episodes. So then you can go on there and see every time I upload a new one, and then you can go tune into those. So yeah. Anyways, let's get down to this recap. So first off is Vincent, and yeah, so he had a really interesting sort of story this episode. I thought his storyline is probably the most entertaining out of all of them. Maybe Candy a close second, but definitely him being the top. So basically he gets settled in this new bar. Right, so obviously we know that he's accepted the offer from Rudy. We didn't physically see it, but we know he has. And Frankie is there helping. And that was kind of funny, to see Frankie there as well. Obviously his twin brother. And also he kept the bartender that was working there at the gay bar that was there before. So it was just nice that they kept him on. And also I didn't know this right away. But the actor playing him was actually in The Walking Dead for quite a few episodes. So yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. I did recognize him from something, and then I looked him up and got it. So yeah, Walking Dead. But anyways, so then Frankie loses this bet, and he's supposed to be helping Vincent and this other guy with breaking down this wall we see, and just like making changes to the whole bar and making it look nice. And he's betting here with a bunch of guys at a table. So basically, Frankie, he's playing at this table with a bunch of guys, and the place isn't even open yet. So like he's just gambling with a bunch of guys, and he basically loses the bet. And this was like one of my favorite scenes in the episode this week. So basically, he loses the bet, and Vincent, says, "I'm not giving you any loans or anything. I'm not going to do that." And so Frankie takes matters into his own hands, and he breaks into all these machines, the jukebox, the cigarette machine, the pool table, all the machines that take money or whatever. And he finds a ton of money all left in these machines, right? Because, they weren't cleaned out from when Vincent took over. And yeah, it was just a funny scene, right? To see him do all that stuff with these damn machines and get this money so that he can, place a bet again. So it's kind of funny. And then A little bit after that, we see this big redhead guy, and the short guy. That was just really funny. That was like, really, really just a funny thing. Like he didn't even have to say anything, and it was funny. And Frankie made like a joke as well, so that was good. Just to see like a big, huge guy, and then like this little short guy being his partner. Anyway, so they walk in, and the big guy is really mad, about their machines. He says that he's Vincent's partner, and that he's has 1/3 in the business, and those are his machines, and he's not happy that Frankie broke into them and took the money out. So Frankie then, this is the scene I was talking about. Sorry, that's my favorite of the episode, or one of my favorites. But yeah, so picks up a sledgehammer and he smashes every single machine. The jukebox, cigarettes, the pool table. He like just puts a big dent in the pool table, and that was funny to see. It was just like a super badass scene, right? And he does it, and the big guy, you don't know who you're messing with or whatever, and he just kind of walks out, right? Like totally defeated. And then that was just like one of the funniest parts of the episode is the short guy like just like staring at Frankie, and Frankie just like looks down at him like that. He's like, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like that was just a funny scene there. And yeah, so that was one of my favorites. But then basically, so obviously this isn't following chronological order, of course, but yeah, so then Rudy comes and tells Vincent then a little bit later that he has to meet with those guys that were in earlier, because he wants them to straighten things up with each other, and kind of make things right. So Vincent goes to this bar that they're at, and into the back room, and they tell him to wait at the bar, right? And the guys are just a bunch of dicks, right? A bunch of assholes who are just trying to be funny and all that. So I tell him to wait at the bar, and really disrespectful to him. And then he's kind of waiting at the bar, nothing's really happening. And then all of a sudden, Rudy walks in and shows up to talk to them. And just like the whole atmosphere, like just changed. When he walked in, like you knew that something was going to happen. When he tells, Vincent, why don't you get a drink, and you and I, we got a problem or something, Rudy says to them. So that was cool, right? That Rudy kind of comes to his side, and they're totally, like shit scared of this Rudy guy, right? So it totally works. And yeah, so then I guess that kind of thing is dealt with, and obviously Vincent and Rudy kind of win that fight over these kind of assholes, right? So then Vincent has his grand opening for his, new bar. The business goes really well. At the beginning, no one comes, and then, the one guy says, like, are you guys open or something? And then all of a sudden everyone floods in. So yeah, it goes really well. It's a really great night. And I just think, like, Vincent is such a, great bartender. It shows, when someone sits down, like he introduces the person to the left and to the right of them, and, just like a really social guy, right? And he just loves what he's doing, you can see. And yeah, he's just really passionate about, like this new bar, being a bartender, owning his own place. So yeah, really great to see him happy, right? That character of Vincent. I imagine that he's not going to stay this happy throughout the series, or throughout the season at least, but yeah, so we'll have to see. But anyway, so yeah, that's just a really, great thing to see there. And then we see Big Mike. So he walks into the bar, and we're introduced to him a little bit earlier in multiple scenes, actually. The one where he bought drugs from the one guy, and then also when he tries to talk to Candy, and he's just really, like, freaky guy, right? Really creepy. And so yeah, something's up with him, right? Like he's not, he's not completely normal. And Candy actually runs away from him. So yeah, basically he comes in, he sits down, and the fat ginger guy comes back. He didn't have enough, so he comes back and is mad at Vincent. He's kind of causing a scene. And then he tries to, like charge at Vincent. He's trying to fight him and stuff. And then Big Mike actually takes him down, and is able to take his gun away and, sort of pushes it towards Vincent so that he can hide it. Because obviously if the gun was seen in the bar, then, everyone would leave and, it would be chaos, right? So, yeah, so Big Mike's able to basically save the day for Vinny, and take out this guy and help him with the gun thing. So yeah, and then he tries to run out, really quickly after he takes him down, and Vincent kind of chases him out and gets him to come back in and have a drink. So I'm not sure where that's gonna go really right with the Big Mike guy. I think like sums up with him. I thought he was a cop at first, maybe, but I have no idea. So we'll have to see where that goes. And like I said, breadcrumbs, right? That's exactly what we're getting here with Big Mike. So we'll have to see where that storyline goes, and we'll have to see, if he kind of stays close with Vinny. Vinny kind of figures out too much about him. We'll have to see. Okay. So that's basically Vincent. So now Candy, she wasn't in a lot of this episode, to be honest, but I did like the parts she was in. So we see that she's basically interested in the movie business now, right? After going to that movie and making the movie last week, last episode, she's really, into that now, and she wants to do that. So Ruby tells her about a guy she knows who makes the movies, but, they get there. And it turns out that the guy doesn't actually, he doesn't even film the actual, the actual sex, really, right? They're the actual, yeah, I guess, yeah, it wouldn't be porn, right? Yeah, so he's not even filming, the two guys, the man and the woman having sex, but he basically charges $40 for men to come in and basically watch and jerk off, basically, right? And so, yeah, really smart idea, right, by this guy. To take advantage of that, right? And so obviously these guys think that they're watching the filming of this porno, but really the camera's not even rolling, and he's just charging them to come in and watch it. So basically live. So, and this way also he doesn't get in trouble with the cops, because making the movies is illegal, right? At this time. So yeah, so that's kind of how that happens there. And so yeah, Candy obviously, she recognized that he's smart, and he has some skills. So she actually gets in touch with him and invites him for lunch. And she asks him, if she can learn some of the business from him. She says that she wants to start making movies, not necessarily act in them, right? But he offers her to act in the movies for like $600 or something, which is quite a lot, right, for Candy. I mean, she should probably take that, right? Like that's quite a bit, more than what she's probably making on the street. But that's not really what she wants, right? She wants to make the movies. She doesn't want to be in front of the camera. And yeah, that's kind of all he sees her as, is just like the actor, right? And yeah, just kind of sad, right, to see Candy, and she actually almost is in tears, right, at that moment, that that's all she's recognized as. And she's starting to realize it's going to be hard to transition out of this job I'm at, right, with working on the streets. And yeah, and then we also see that for the rest of the episode, then it's just she's getting tired of the street life. She starts like talking back to that one guy who wanted to do anal or something with her, and that's not something she usually go off on him, right? That wouldn't usually happen. And then we also see her answering her answering machines and stuff, and we hear the guys or whatever. And so yeah, we just see her getting really disinterested with the whole thing. And yeah, so obviously that's pushing her more towards these movies, and kind of inspiring her now to somehow try to get her foot in the door with someone, and try to learn how to do this. So we'll have to see where that goes. Obviously, another thing, breadcrumbs, right? They're laying what's about to happen with her. So we'll have to see where that goes. I have a feeling that she's going to end up acting in the movie for one of those ones that the guy does. Because I mean, why wouldn't she, for that money? So we'll have to see, I guess. But I think that's my prediction there for next episode. So now we get to Abby, and she actually wasn't in a lot of last episode, but I really liked her in this episode. I felt like she had a pretty good role in this, and I thought, all the stuff that happened with her was very good. So basically, we see at the beginning that she's going job searching, and yeah, not having much success, right? She goes for some interviews that we see, and job's not right for her, but she has to get a job, right, to afford staying in that place with her friends. So she gets a job at this fake telephone company eventually, and I don't know, it's kind of funny. There's like a Master Blaster magazine or something like that. They called themselves, so kind of funny, right? But yeah, so she starts calling people. And the one person she calls, like, she's calling for the husband or something, and he died last year, and the wife gets really mad at her. So yeah, that just kind of, pushes her over the edge, right? And she feels like it's morally wrong for what she's doing, because she's not like all the other people there, right? She has emotion, and she feels bad for people, and yeah, she just can't morally, she can't do it, right? So she quits her job there after, I think it was like a few hours that she was there working, and basically, just walks out, and it was a really badass way to walk out too. So then a little bit later in the episode, the guy who actually worked beside her, and we saw him a little bit when she was there in a couple of scenes, but not much. They didn't really focus on him. But anyways, yeah, so he's there, working beside her, and yeah, he ends up meeting up with her again later that night when she's out with some friends, getting pizza or something like that. And yeah, so basically, it just goes from there. And he kind of flirts with her a little bit, and then all of a sudden, they're back at Abby's place, and they basically sleep together that night. And yeah, so yeah, just kind of a weird hookup, obviously. But so basically, the moral of that is though that she wakes up and she checks her purse for a cigarette or something like that, and sees the envelope is all crinkled or whatever. And now this envelope is the one that her mom gave her with all the money in it. And she finds the envelope and it's empty. So all of her money is gone. And this freaking guy, he took all of her money that she had in her purse. So yeah, I mean, definitely a dick move, right? Sleeping with her and then taking her money. And I'm not sure if that was all, his whole intention the whole time, or maybe, he just realized that at the end, in the morning or something when he woke up and, took advantage of it. But anyways, yeah, just a, really dick move, right? So now she's without money, and she's got to find somehow, some way, to help pay for the rent or whatever, and the one girl asks her for some of the rent to contribute. So, yeah, that's, that's kind of unfortunate there. But good news is, and then she goes to Vincent's grand opening there at the bar, and, she's looking for, a long-term job, right? Maybe doing the books or something, she says, but Vinny, he says, I would, but, all I have to offer is basically like a waitress job, right? And yeah, so she ends up, she leaves, and then she comes back because she knows she really has no other option, right? She kind of has to do it. But of course, she has to wear this leotard too, right? That all the women are now wearing in Vincent's bar. So yeah, so she ends up accepting, and yeah, so she works that night, and it looks like she enjoyed it really. She looked like she was having a good time, and made some money, of course, from Vincent, and yeah, so then at the end of the night there, they kind of had a little bit of a moment, right? I'm not sure if it's like a relationship that they have, or maybe it's sort of like a brother and sister. I don't really know the what exactly is going on here, but something's going on here, right? Because that can't go unnoticed. So they have a little bit of a moment there, and she says, see you around or whatever like that, and that's actually how the episode ends. But obviously, we're a little bit out of order here. But yeah, so my little thing, and maybe she starts working there full time. Maybe, right? She needs the money, so that might be what she ends up doing. Or maybe it was just for that night, and she goes on job searching a little bit longer. So we'll have to see what happens there. But yeah, that was a good storyline for her this episode. I thought she was a good focus of the episode for sure, and she had some funny parts as well. So then we see Bobby, and of course Bobby is Vincent's and Frankie's brother-in-law, because their sister Fran is married to him. So Bobby's on the job here, and he gets mad at some guys about some sort of the way the walling is done or something like that on this building that they're working on. And then a little bit later, he has to take the stairs up to the scaffolding or something like that, which is not usual for him because the elevator's out of service or something. And well, I guess it wouldn't have been an elevator, but like some sort of trolley that would have taken him up. And yeah, so a little bit out of the usual, right? He's not used to that. And yeah, so we kind of see him like huffing and puffing a little bit, right? And I kind of predicted this whole thing happening, right? But it was still well done. So yeah, basically he takes his anger out on the teenager who's on the work site there, there for the summer or whatever. And this teenager basically is, anti non-war sort of thing. And I just love like the way that this is depicted, right? Like very realistic. That a lot of people there's a lot of controversy on conflicting views about the Vietnam War, of course, at the time. So I thought that was great, the way they depicted the times, and that was just a great, thing to add on to that. And yeah, so basically, he basically takes out his anger on this kid and says, like, can't you just keep your mouth shut or something like that? And anyway, so yeah, he's a little disrespectful to him, tells him to quit, but kind of comes back a little bit, right, and notices that he's being a little too harsh on him. So then he starts to show him how to lift this box that then he asks him to lift. And while he's having this conversation, all of a sudden he falls down. And the guy, not the little, but the kid kind of asks him, like, are you okay or whatever? And he falls down, and basically he has a heart attack. And yeah, like I did see that coming, honestly, when he walked up the stairs and he was like panting and whatever. I thought that was what was going to happen, to be honest, but anyways, it happened. So he had a heart attack and on the job. So then a little bit later on the episode, Vincent and Frankie visit him in the hospital there. And basically, or at least this is what I kind of understood from this, but their whole plan with the paychecks, transferring the money from the paychecks with Bobby, is out, basically. It's not going to work until Bobby gets back to work. That's sort of what I got from that. So I'm not sure if that's right or not, but that's what I got from that that whole plan is kind of, null and void right now until Bobby gets back to work, because he's kind of the leader of the whole plan and talks to his guys. So, yeah, definitely, unfortunate for them there, and also, unfortunate for Bobby, but it looks like he'll survive, and it looks like he'll be okay, so it wasn't a major heart attack or anything like that. And then we also see Vincent give Bobby's wife, Fran, obviously his sister, some money in the meantime to help them through, as we know that Bobby's, living paycheck to paycheck, really, and now that he can't work, he doesn't have much money coming in, so that was just a nice thing of Vincent to do, and, he's doing pretty well right now, so definitely good to help his sister out there. And yeah, so, and then we also see Frankie plays with the kids a little bit as well, so that was kind of a funny scene there, just to, they demonstrate this so much where Frankie's, just the kind of goofball guy, and Vincent's the more serious and compassionate guy, so it's demonstrated there again. So then the police force, this was a little quick thing. It happened like just at the end of the episode. I feel like they could have, maybe brought it up a little bit sooner, but basically Alston and Flanagan get told by their boss that this certain block, like the 4-5 or something, or this tunnel, is now a no-go zone. So, they can't arrest anyone there, or they can't, patrol there or something. I'm not exactly sure what it meant, but something like that, right? So it's kind of like a safe zone for criminals, I guess. And Alston thinks it's wrong. He doesn't understand it, really. But, yeah, and he kind of knows something's going on, right? Something's fishy here. And, I think in next episode, I think he's going to try to figure it out, right? I think he's going to try to get to the bottom of it. And we'll definitely see where that goes. But yeah, he's also, kind of unique, right? Most of the other cops, they don't ask questions. They just kind of follow orders. But he's questioning it, and he thinks something's going on. He suspects it. So my question is, does this have to do with the Rudy and the other guy that we meet, their kind of deal or whatever? And I'll get to Rudy in just a second. But does it have to do with their deal? And that's the reason why they have a no-go zone now, because Rudy and the friend are kind of like building something there illegally or something. So we'll have to see if that's all related. I think it is. If it's not, obviously a new storyline's coming, but yeah, so that was interesting to see the police. I really like the way that they're focused on the police too in this, right? Because there's always, multiple sides to what's going on, and I really like the way that they're focused on the police, and they have two characters, well, one in particular, but two, pretty powerful characters, that are pretty, they're focused on, quite a lot, right, from the police, so that's good. So we see Rudy. So his storyline this episode. So he gets this new lawyer, and basically at the law firm, they're scouting out spots on a map. So I didn't really understand what they're all talking about here. but obviously they're talking about, building something, right, or putting together something on this section of the map or whatever, this block. So that's why I think it's all connected, right, with the no-go zone. And so yeah, so they're kind of, he ends up trusting the lawyer, and they're kind of talking about it. And also he gets the lawyer on retainer, so the attorney-client privilege or whatever. So then he goes and meets this man in the green suit. I didn't get his name, so I'm just gonna call him that. But this was probably the funniest scene of the episode. Basically, this girl walks out before him, and the guy outside says he's getting blowed or something like that, and they have to wait for him. So that was funny, right? And the girl walks out, and then he comes up the stairs, and Rudy, asks if he's refreshed, all right, from getting this blowjob or whatever, and then the guy in the green suit says, that it's his niece, and that they're always jumping to conclusions. That's disappointing. Or I think he says you fucks, and then you're always jumping to conclusions or whatever. So I found that hilarious. I actually laughed out loud at that. It was kind of funny. I'm not sure if that actually was his niece or not. Like just the way that whole scene was there, it was kind of funny, and shows that these guys are pretty good friends, right? Joking with each other like that. So yeah, that was definitely something. And yeah, so basically this guy is in on this deal going down with the lawyer. So they both know the lawyer and they're working together. And he seems like Rudy's boss a little bit, right? He seemed like he was a little bit above Rudy. And I thought Rudy was sort of this big mob boss. So maybe, he's not as big as maybe it seems. Maybe he does have guys over on top of him. So we'll have to see. But yeah, so they're basically just talking about this deal, and this guy in the green suit, says, I don't want you guys putting your name on anything right now. You just need to lay low a little bit so that they can, get this pushed through, I guess. So, yeah, so we'll have to see. They obviously have a big plan here going on, and we'll have to see what it all entails, what they're trying to get this block for, what they're going to build there, what's all going on, right? So, and maybe more information was released and I didn't understand it. So, of course, if you guys see something that I missed, please let me know down below. I mean, I'm going to miss some stuff, obviously. So, yeah, that's basically the recap of this one. Of course, there is stuff going on with Larry and Darlene. But right now, I just don't find that really significant to the story as pushing forward. So, for now, that is the recap. Alright, so now let me get to my rating for this episode. For this one, I'm going to give it a 4.6 out of 5. So yeah, last episode was I think like a 4.3 or 4.2 or something. So yeah, this was better, I think, than last episode. Last episode was just kind of boring, but we did get some more stuff. But yeah, so 4.6 out of 5 for this one. Like I said, there were some actually really funny parts, I thought, in this. There were some badass ones, like Abby walking out of the job. That was nice. And Frankie just like taking a sledgehammer to all those machines. I like the way that, they're laying all these storylines down. The character development is great. Like I said, I would like to see Alston and Flanagan, like that whole police force storyline a little bit earlier in the episode and maybe like expanded on a little bit, just because I felt like it kind of seemed crammed there. I think they only had like 3 scenes and it was all like almost back to back. So I don't know, it seemed like a little crammed to me. Candy, we didn't see much of her, and I really like that character, so I would have liked to see a little bit more of her, but I understand, there's a lot of characters already in the show. Yeah, Abby, all the stuff with Abby was good. The whole thing with Bobby having the heart attack, I'm sure right now there's not a lot of stuff, relevant, like why does that matter, sort of thing. Obviously we care about the character, but outside of that, what is it really affecting? So obviously the paychecks maybe, but I feel like there's going to be more consequences for that event a little bit later on. And yeah, the whole thing with Rudy, it's a little bit too mysterious. I'd like them to explain more, but I know that, they're not going to do that this early in the show. David Simon, that I've heard, that's just not what he does. But, anyways, yeah, so I would have liked to see a little bit more explanation there, but nonetheless, it's still, an interesting storyline. Definitely create some suspense for next week. So gets me excited for next week, for sure. So, yeah, one episode, next week, and then we'll already be halfway through. There's only 8 episodes this first season. So, yeah, but if you think about it, really, right, it's 8 hours still, right? So it's like, and this episode I think was like 59 something. Like it was like usually they're about like 55 minutes or 54, but this one was actually like almost a complete 60-minute episode. So yeah, I mean. And like when I watch these, like I feel like I'm watching a movie, honestly. Like that's what it feels like to me, just like a little bit shorter movie. each time. Just, the production value and all that. It's just so great. And the intro, I'm falling in love with that intro. The song that they use too, like it's that's so great. And the intro is a really, key part, right? I mean, happens at the beginning of the episode, and it just gets you hyped, for what's to come, or at least that's my opinion. So anyways, and it's definitely doing that for me. So favorite character for this one is gonna be Frankie. Frankie Martino, obviously played by James Franco. So the other twin, basically from Vincent. But yeah, I just like the way, he's so badass, and he doesn't really, care a lot about stuff. Breaking in those machines and stuff. And I really like the development of his character too. Like I said, when I first was going to check the show out, or when I first did, I thought that Vincent and Frankie were going to be like side by side the main characters, but it ends up that Vincent is the main character and Frankie's just kind of not a recurring, because he's more than that, but he is a main character, but he's not where I thought he would be. But still great development for a character like that in this episode. Just show, what kind of guy he is, and with all the betting and stuff. But it also shows that he's, there for Vincent, and the brothers actually do have quite a good bond there. And also, they had some funny scenes too, where he's at the bar and he's holding the pool little stick up and whatever, if you guys know what I'm talking about. But anyways, yeah, so there's some funny parts there, and James Franco is doing such an amazing job with playing both these characters. Really, what an amazing thing for him to do, right? Playing twins. So and that's another reason why, you can't have both of them being the two main characters, right? I mean, James Franco should be getting paid double, right? And I'm sure he's getting paid quite a lot for doing both anyways. But yeah, that'd be quite a hard job to do two main characters. But anyways, yep, so that's favorite character. And that'll just about do it for this video, for the review for the Deuce episode 3. And yeah, like I said, next week, and then we'll be halfway through the first season. So anyways, yeah, I think it's going to be a great season, and I'm definitely excited for next week. So in the meantime, I will see you next week on, I think, Monday or Tuesday. I'm going to try to get these up Monday, and once Walking Dead starts on Sundays, this is going to be moved to Tuesday. It's Tuesday again today because I was behind on Zoo, so that's just my explanation there. That's my excuse. But yeah, so this should be on Monday next week, but I'll have to see. But anyways, not making any promises. But anyways, we'll see you next week for the Deuce Season 1, Episode 4.
Sisters, brothers and the whitest, blacks and the crackers.